Hello and welcome to Hank Green Looks at YouTube Stuff with you. Get ready, everybody. YouTube Studio Beta is going to be YouTube Studio with no access to Creator Studio Classic any day now. So get used to it and enjoy it. And I've heard a lot of people complaining about it because it's different. And there are things that aren't working great right now, but there's also things that I don't know. I don't know if there's ways to do some of this stuff in Creator Studio Classic, but I haven't found them, and it's pretty exciting to actually watch and see this stuff working. Now, the thing you have to remember is that people are going to have varying levels of interaction with their YouTube analytics. Sticking network relationship in the upper right-hand corner to me is a very transparent technique, because oftentimes YouTube is probably saying to creators, we can't help, who's your network? And then they say, we don't know who our network is. What's a network? And then it turns out that they've been part of, some YouTube network for a long time and just forgot about it because what the hell is an MCN anyway? But yeah, I have a network relationship status. Hashtag it's complicated with Vlogbrothers. Since July 13th, 2012, I have gained 2,000 subscribers in the last 28 days. My watch time is up. My views are up. My revenue's up. This is all great. I just been making more content. That's what's happening. You also have this middle bar, which has some news. You have some creator insider information. I actually think this is a good idea. I know that YouTube has a hard time communicating with creators. And oftentimes, and then YouTube, we say you're bad at communicating. And then YouTube's we've been trying to tell you, but no one listens until there's something to be mad about, which, frankly, that probably should be how it is. I don't it's not our job to be in up on every single piece of YouTube news, but this is YouTube news right here and right now. The fact that we're gonna YouTube Studio is gonna take over for how we interact with our content, it's news, and we're gonna have to deal with that. Then you will have your most recent video, and I don't know why there isn't two of them. I feel like it'd be nice to have the two most recent videos, but there it is. It tells me how it's doing, which is kind of nice. Sometimes I don't actually know how my videos are doing, so tell me in comparison to previous content how it's doing, and it's doing as usual, it says. And it's kind of exciting when YouTube is your video's outperforming previous videos. And then when it's your video's doing up a stink, you're well, what'd I do wrong? And then you can look into the analytics and see maybe what you did wrong. So then you can click directly from this to go look at your comments on this video or go to your analytics. Now, I'm going to be looking at this almost entirely from an analytics perspective. That, transcriptions are also moving over here. Comment moderation is moving over here. Monetization, the monetization button actually is just telling you different ways you can monetize. But we're just going to be looking at this from an analytics perspective, because that's what I use YouTube Studio for. So you can go directly to the video analytics for this video, and you can see this thing that they've created. Specifically, it seems for people who might be a little less familiar with YouTube analytics, to give you a better idea of what's going on and how to feel about the thing that you're doing. And this, I think it's good. It's nice to see audience retention is very clear. Real-time activity is very clear. I actually changed the thumbnail for this video very recently, so I'm kind of keeping an eye on how that changes this. It doesn't look like it has very much at all, actually, but who knows? It was well, we'll see. We'll see. Let's come back to that and see if there's any change to it. You can see your views. You can see the watch time bar is very broad on Hank's channel because some of my content is very, very long and some is very short. Views narrower. I'm hitting right in the middle here. No surprises. It looks like a good video. Your video did well, and there's a little paper airplane flying off into the distance. You can also click on these things up here, which are we are now looking at the sort of simple version of what you can do with analytics. You can have your overview. You can reach viewers. So you can see my impressions click-through rate here is 6.5%. That's higher than usual because we don't have a lot of days of data for this video. In fact, it probably makes more sense to look at a different video than this one, because this one hasn't been online very long. So let's go look at a different video. I'm going to look at my wage theft video because there might be some interesting things we can pull out of this data. Now it's going to take me straight to this page, which is not actually that helpful. And also there's a bunch of stuff you can't do on this yet. You have to do in Creator Studio. So can't change my monetization information, I don't think, on this page yet. Look at me with 2 tags. I really mailing it in here. Sorry. So what we can see on this video, which has a lot more time to look, you can see more and better data. You also see that there's a little bump here where it was like, it was sort of leveling off and then it started to got a little more life breathed into it. I believe I changed the thumbnail and that is how that happened. The click-through rate seems to have cratered here. Click-through rate for me is always best on the first day because that's when subscribers are clicking. Then it goes down. But like we're going to actually look at click-through rate in a little bit more detail later because there's a lot more information that you can tease out of the current analytics package here at Studio Beta than you can in your normal place. But so like our reach viewers area is like, okay, here's the impressions that I've gotten. Like here's where when YouTube is showing my content. Here's the click-through rate. I guess they started showing it on content that wasn't as relevant, probably, is what started to happen. Views and unique viewers. So there are surprisingly, well, I guess it makes sense that people would come back and watch a little bit of a video they've watched before, or watch half of it, watch another half later. I don't know if that gets counted as a separate view. Here you have your little funnel of how things happened, how you go from your impressions to your watch time. And 81.2% of my YouTube, my views, my impressions came from YouTube recommending my content. I imagine the rest came from subscribers and from people coming from outside of the site, from Twitter and stuff. You've got this click-through rate that's resulted in 67,000 views, and then you've got an average view duration that has resulted in 468,000 minutes watched. You've also got YouTube search. So wage theft coming up very high here, which is actually great news because that means that when people search that, they'll get this video, which I think is hopefully an informative and useful thing. We've got traffic sources. We've got traffic source suggested videos. Here are the suggested videos. This is a video by me that is also about wage theft in part. Other Vlogbrothers videos almost entirely. External traffic sources. Apparently I got some love from Reddit. I don't know if you can see any more detail than that. You cannot. It would be nice if we could see the specific Reddit posts, but we cannot. Not that it was a lot of views. 565 views. And you can click X. Whenever you click on see more, you are being brought to sort of a different little world, and you can send feedback. You can export this, and you can close it down up in the upper right-hand corner there. That's reach viewers. You got your interest. How are you interesting people? So the retention of the views, the average view duration. I don't really know why that's a separate category of interest. And then you got build an audience. So like how many subscribers have you converted and where are those subscriptions coming from? And then you've got your revenue tab where you see your playback-based CPM, which is pretty high for this video, which is nice. And then you've also got my YouTube premium revenue, which is $78, which is a substantial fraction. Now it's a longer video than average for me. And of course, YouTube premium revenue comes in by watch time rather than by impression. So that is bound to be a little higher, but that's really quite good. And it probably has something to do with the fact that a lot of the people who follow me on Hank's channel have a higher than average chance of being YouTube premium subscribers. What kind of ad types did we get? Skippable video ads was the big hunk there. Display ads, bumper ads, non-skippable video ads. I didn't think that I allowed those, so I'll have to check that out. And there was no transaction revenue. Monetized playbacks, 61,000 playbacks were monetized, which is really nice. Thank you for showing that to me, YouTube. So this video got about, I think, like 120,000 views or something. Yeah, 110. And so only 61,000 of those were monetized. The reasons why things aren't monetized: people saw another ad recently. They're YouTube Premium subscribers. They're just like not an age that you or a demographic or from a place where YouTube has a lot of ads to sell. So that's what's up with that. CPM weirdly has gone up a lot for this video. So that's strange, sort of an anti-capitalist message, but like apparently it's doing well with the ad auctions. So that's like, this is our overview of like simple stuff that you can like get a quick glance of and see how the video is doing and what it means. And that's a lot of information. Like, I think picking what information to show folks is certainly not easy. It's a lot of information, but you don't want to give too much. But there is a lot more information if you click on this See More button. So here we are now in See More land, and boy, is there a lot of information here to see. And you can also like you could do many different things here. And for me, it's taken a little while, and I'm still in the process of getting my mind around like just sort of like feeling comfortable in the YouTube Studio space generally, but in this particular analytics dashboard, maybe a little bit because I haven't used it as much as I've used the sort of like quick and dirty stuff, but also just because like, I don't know if it's my favorite layout for content ever. So starting over here, we've got what video we're looking at. We can switch videos here, which is nice. We've got a filter. You can filter by geography, whether it's live or VOD, and you can filter by subscription status. So I can basically say, I only want to see information for my subscribed audience. And then I can just close that down. Also over here, you've got how long do you want to look at this for? I'm leaving this at since uploaded. So we definitely see since uploaded. And I don't know why this is gray. That kind of is turning me off. It feels a little buggy. Like, why is this not real? But this is the graph. And right now we're looking about like how many subscribers I got from this video. So let's switch over to views, which is a more natural statistic to be looking at. And then down here, you've got like your video, and you've got different, like, this is sort of like YouTube has populated these pieces of data to like sort of keep you abreast of what's going on. And you can add other ones. Like you can go in here and add, I would like to see the average view duration also put on there. And it's currently tacked, and you can tack these things on here so that they don't go away. Even when you switch between things, there are a standard set of them for each one of these things that you click on. Like if I click on traffic source, then you got your watch minutes, views, view duration, impressions, click-through rate. Whereas at video, you've got very similar, but not quite the exact same. And YouTube has just decided which of those things is going to be most useful. And you can hide these things, or you can tack them so that they never go away. So when I go to traffic source, that will still be there. It would have been it still would have been, but it is, and it will never go away. Traffic source is always a really interesting thing for me, and a thing that is so useful is being able to compare traffic source view durations, like where your watch time is coming from, where your views are coming from, where your impressions are coming from, and different click-through rates for different features. So, or for different like traffic sources. So we've got our browse features. They're still calling it browse features. I don't know why this isn't split out from the beginning to home, subscribers, and other. So you have to click on it and see like, okay, so browse features is home, subscriptions, watch later, watch history, personalized playlists. Whatever. You'll see that on the first day, most views are coming from subscriptions, though a lot of are coming from home. And then that subscriptions always tails off pretty immediately. But a really interesting thing to look at here is click-through rates. So on home, I actually had a higher click-through rate than on subscriptions. The reason for that, on home, there tends to just be 2 bars of like the thing that you are seeing immediately, especially or on like mobile. When you're looking at this, like you click on, you open up your YouTube app and there's like the home section, and like you're immediately seeing like one video. And so click-through rates are going to be a lot higher because there's just less to see. Whereas subscriptions is like sort of this infinite feed, and people like there's just a lot more content that you're competing with, which is also why if we go to suggested videos, that rate is also always lower, just because there's always a lot of content that's being suggested along with your video on suggested videos. So this like click-through rate data is really helpful, and it gives me an idea of like why this video might be doing well, because 5.1% click-through is really good. For example, let's compare this to another video. Let's compare it to this video that I did with Trace that did not do well. And so like, first of all, like from day one, we see a problem here. Like this had a much higher like spike at the beginning than this did. And let's look at why. So wage theft, how it happens, click-through rate from browse features, 5.8%. Click-through rate from browse features for the video I did with Trace, 2.1%. We can click on browse features directly and see those things compared. From home, we've got a 6.1% click-through rate for wage theft, a 1.8% for the video I did with Trace. From for subscriptions and for actually these switched somewhat annoyingly. Because I got more views from subscriptions than from home for this video. So they flopped, whereas I got more views from home for this video. So 1.8% click-through rate, 2.9% click-through rate. Like those are just much lower. YouTube is going to share that content less because we have proven that people aren't as going to be as enthusiastic about clicking on that content. So like right here, we have a story of why one video did well and another one didn't. Like click-through rates were much higher on the wage theft video than on the Wiki Wonders video, which is something that maybe needs to be explained better to the audience or just handled differently. Or like maybe that's not a format that works, or maybe it's not a format that works when we're titling it and thumbnailing it the way that I did, which was like not deliberate at all. Like I didn't really have much like care for that as when I was doing it. I was just having a good time, which is fine. Like that's what Hank's channel is for. So yeah, like you can see pretty clearly a pretty big shift, and like that's super useful data. That's actually pretty easy to get to, and you can do the same. Like we're still in this comparison here, so we can do a viewer age comparison between these two videos. Gender, revenue source, subscription status, subscription source is interesting. So this is like how people subscribed. And you always see that you can't get subscribers from the subscription feed. So your subscription feed subscribers are always either 0 or negative. So with the wage theft video, I lost 12 subscribers. I lost 41 subscribers from the subscription feed for Wiki Wonders, whereas I got from YouTube watch page 857. And so I can tack this now and I can keep that there forever so that will show up. Now, of course, we can also just show impressions click-through rate here. We can like look at the graph of click-through rate. This was never high and remained low. This was high at the beginning and then went down as YouTube tried it out in other places where it was less successful. So YouTube's going to take a video that's doing well and say like, well, maybe if we throw this into a sidebar that's a little less well connected to this topic, see if it does well as it also, and then if it does, then start showing that around. That's why you will see occasionally in a suggested video or on your homepage, you'll see like stuff that you're like, I don't know why you're suggesting this to me. It's because YouTube's gathering data on whether somebody might have a higher chance of clicking on that video. And as that happens, your click-through rate is gonna go down. When YouTube is suggesting a Game of Thrones video on a Game of Thrones video, it's much more likely you're gonna get a click. It's much less likely if there's a video about like how to slice a watermelon properly and YouTube's like, well, maybe we can funnel this person into some Game of Thrones content, and there's just gonna be a lower click-through rate. So click-through rates decreasing is a normal thing. It also just means that like maybe the sort of audience for that video might have to some extent been saturated, and often a good sign when you see click-through rates going down, because it means YouTube is giving you more impressions. As you get more impressions, it tends to be that click-through rates will go down because you're getting impressions that are less relevant to your video. But right now we are only looking at individual video information. So I'm going to exit comparison, and then I'm going to just click on Hank's channel up here. And now we're going to see everything for Hank's channel. And we have we're doing the lifetime of the video of the channel here. A lot of the lifetime of the channel doesn't have good stats. So hopefully I closed that window down really fast, so I actually don't know what the situation is. But here's like we're just looking at click-through rate by traffic source for the entire channel over the last year now. We can see that browse features, home and subscriptions, 5.3%, suggested videos, 2.7. And so these are the averages for me. It's actually like, that's super helpful. And we can actually do this weekly and it'll be a little less jaggedy. It used to be that you could do a weekly with some averaging, which made it like a rolling average, which makes it prettier. And you can definitely see the spikes in browse feature click-through rate when videos come out, because that's when we're showing up in subscriptions. So this will be a lot clearer. Well, actually, home spikes along with subscriptions. So if I could just click on subscriptions, you see like this is just when the videos come out. And it's kind of wild that like there's any click through at all on anything in these areas where I haven't uploaded a video in a while. I don't know how people are finding my content, but if you go to home, like, yeah, there's still going to be a lot more suggestion of older content in home. You will also see that home tends to have a higher click-through rate than subscriptions just because there's less content there. Click-through rate is like one of the most important things to be looking at in your entire arsenal of stats to check out. So now what we're looking at is the views for the entire channel, and you know, like the total views here, and then we can add on individual videos and see how they're being a part of the viewership and growth of the channel. These little spikes in here, super useful. And I'm sorry that I'm spending so much time on click-through rates, but impressions click-through rate here, you can, I think this is the click-through rate for the entire channel, and you see places where it spikes and goes down. But I think that if I click on this, I'll see what the top click-through I can. So here are the videos that are on my channel that have the top click-through rates, which I think is really interesting. Now, there's a few of these that need to be discounted because they are Project for Awesome perks. So people only have access to this content if they have a link, and of course they're going to click on it. But the ones that have a really great click-through rate, we have this video, an announcement, which has just a stellar click-through rate. And I can click on it because I actually don't know 100. Oh, it's this video. And my guess is if we go to the stats for that individual video, it's a little annoying that we've ended up here instead of staying inside of the more complicated analytics dashboard, but there we're at. So if we go to our click-through rate here, blurp, blurp, blurp. My guess as to why this video did well, like has such a high click-through rate, is because it's all in caps. It's an April Fool's Day video, and it's going to get views from my viewers, but it's not going to get shared by YouTube to other places. For example, like suggested videos is way the heck down here. It didn't get suggested at all. So this video was designed to and only did well with my audience. It's me announcing that I'm going to open a fake brewery. And then did I private it? If it would especially make sense if I privated it early on after that. But no, I don't think I did. So that's really interesting. That fascinates me. It's frustrating that I can't just go back directly to that. I have to do this whole thing again and go to video and go impressions, click-through rate, and go click this, and there I am. So other ones that did well, ladybug eating aphids, probably because that does well in search. So things that do really well in search tend to, tend to have higher click-through rates. So we're gonna go to, yeah. So it's doing really well in search. And when people see, like, I want to watch ladybugs eating aphids, they search for that, they're going to click on it. And so you end up with a high click-through rate. I do find it frustrating that I have to jump back and forth between the remedial analytics and the advanced analytics here. But that's just that's a piece of feedback for YouTube. It's also worth noting that you can compare the individual channel to a video. So you can see like, okay, so here's Hank's channel averages, and then here's this particular video. So that on average, Hank's channel has a 4.4% click-through rate, and this video has, at the moment, 6.5%, though that's going to go down as the video gets older. So it's pretty robust. It's a lot that you can do, and I've sort of only been clicking on these first two tabs. I don't care a ton about geography, though I do care somewhat if we're going to go on tour, if I can see what cities people live in, but I can't. I can only see what states they live in. That's annoying. And yeah, you can even compare this, but it's just going to be roughly the same. You can also look at gender for one video. So like Hank's channel overall, 44% female, 48% on Who's the Heir to the Iron Throne. I don't know what that. You'd have to do a lot more work to get to the bottom of that. But my estimated ad revenue for the entire channel is $8,000 over the year. And YouTube Premium revenue is 20% of the revenue of the channel, which is actually really impressive. And then for some reason, I have $638 of transaction revenue, which I have no idea what that's about. Oh, I had memberships. It says right here. It's right here, Hank. It says it. Yeah, I have memberships on the channel for a while. I made $527 from that, $3 per transaction. Had super chat occasionally, and I've made some money from that. Okay. Thank you, everybody who are members of this channel for a little while. So yeah, a number of insights that are pretty easy to come by once you start to get used to how this thing works. But I'll tell you, it's not super simple. Like right when you open it up, it does take a little getting used to, but it is worth getting used to because it is a, it's pretty robust and like powerful system for, figuring out what's doing well, why things are doing well, and trying to tease out why content that does well, why content that doesn't do well. Sometimes it's really cut and dry, but when a video pops and gets really big, it's really amazing to be able to spend some time actually trying to get to the bottom of why that happened. So this is a little bit about the new Studio Beta analytics system and also just the Studio Beta generally. My video of ladybugs eating aphids, by the way, is fantastic and you should watch it. All right, let's see. I changed this thumbnail. Let's see if it is done anything at all for the video. Nah, doesn't look like it. So, analytics, YouTube Studio Beta. Get used to it.